What is that thing you're doing?
It's technical. It's when we're a little tired. Something is different.
Good friend.
Anything different is good.
Go ahead. Your bus is leaving.
Backhouse man. I'm a scientist.
What's always a question of good? You only think about the bad.
I just have a feeling that something is wrong.
Good things do happen.
Make it Centauri time.
Hello and welcome to Groundhog Jungle, a series of podcasts discussing the works of Bill Murray. This is episode 5. My name is Alex Hillman.
And I'm Matthew Fleming. Hey Alex,
Hey Matt,
how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. You know how you love cats?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know you like swimming pools?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you love, and I bet you do, cats being thrown into swimming pools?
No.
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 Oh, okay.
I think it's cruel, isn't it? Really?
Okay, because I'm doing research for this film I'm making in 1979 called Mr. Mike's Mondo Video.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
every single person I've asked told me that it's bloody hilarious when you throw a cat in a swimming pool for real.
Right.
And it sort of seems to go under the water a little bit,
Yeah.
and you repeatedly show that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah?
I guess the problem I've got with that is the distress the cat would encounter. Some cats like water, contrary to popular belief. Most do not. I think
Yeah.
if you drop some cats in the swimming pool, not only would it be cruel,
Yeah.
it would also be ethically wrong, and I think people would complain.
Do you know, I'm really sad to hear you say this because I posed it like it was a modal verb, but it's not. We've done it. We filmed it this morning. I was hoping
Right.
you'd confirm my suspicions, which is that it's
Well,
freaking
you
hilarious.
really should have asked me about that first.
Yeah, it's just you though. Everyone else will love it.
Yeah, but I don't care because I don't like it.
Yeah, but like, are you going to see it? Because these people all are. They're going to
cool.
love it.
I mean,
they said if the film's like this, count me in. They said this is the funniest thing I've
so
ever seen.
what you're saying? There's a scene in this film.
Yeah.
What's it called, by the way?
It's called Mr. Mike's Mondo Video.
Right. And in it, early on, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's about sort of 10, 15 minutes in or
Right.
so. Yeah.
There's a scene
Sort of
where
sets the
you
tone,
are
you know.
chucking cats into a swimming pool.
Yeah,
You?
we sort
Or-
of. Well, you never really see the people because it's not about the
Right.
people. It's
Were
about
you
the cats.
one of the people?
It's yeah.
Right.
It's about the
We've
hilarity
got a
of watching the
fundamental
cats
problem
land
with
in the water
you.
like
Yeah.
over and over again. And
Yeah.
also, what we're going to do is we're going to sort of like take a meow sound and sort of like slow it down so we can't. We're going to slow down the footage at times as
Yeah.
well. So basically,
I'm
gonna film at lots
laughing,
of
but
different
it
speeds.
sounds awful.
Yeah,
Please
see,
tell me it's not
but
going to be in
you're
the film.
laughing.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Now, do
I
you know why
suppose
we're
you
going
make a point.
Do you know why we're going to do this?
Do I know why?
Yeah. Do you know what Mondo means?
Mondo.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know an actual translation, but
Well, we've taken it from the Italian documentary film Mondo Carne.
Yes.
And if you remember, because everyone saw that, obviously, Italian
Yeah.
documentary films, who doesn't see those?
Wow.
If you remember, real animals are
Cannibal
killed in that. Animals are slaughtered.
Yeah.
Animals are slaughtered in the making of that
Like
film.
Cannibal.
So we thought we'd do this with cats. We're not going to kill the cats, because that would
No.
be wrong, but we are going to very lightly drown them.
Right. Sorry. Again, laughing, but not impressed.
But you see, you're still laughing, and I think in a theatre that's going to go all right. I say, this is all the vote I needed. This is the confidence I needed.
Right. Well, okay.
I'm on the phone to my
look,
producer. We're going to cut this. You cut it today. It's
no.
brilliant.
Right. Listen.
They've
look.
done it. They're cutting it. They
Okay.
might even be releasing it today. Things happen fast in the 70s.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm appalled.
And scene.
Right. So,
Hello.
yeah, Mr. Mike's Mondo Video.
It's got a scene in it in which cats are thrown into a swimming
Yeah.
pool.
Now, I can't remember who reviewed this film.
I did.
You did.
And
This,
I echoed your... I mean, obviously, you're a big cat lover.
Yeah.
I'm aware
Not
of
in
cats.
that
I don't know. I'm aware of cats. You know, I've spent time with them and stuff. I wouldn't wish any harm on them, but I love them.
I guess-
obviously. But I don't want to see them being thrown into a swimming pool. I don't want to
No.
see anything being thrown into a swimming pool.
I
I think
think-
I want to see Hitler be thrown into a swimming pool.
I
I think.
don't, well, yeah. I mean, the
you
problem
can't
I've got
swim.
with animals primarily is that they don't really understand what's going on.
No.
And if you throw a cat into a swimming pool, it's not like throwing a dog into a swimming pool. A dog recognises and likes water. For them, it's a treat. Wouldn't be for anyone in the swimming pool, but it would be for the dog. Cats typically hate water. Some species, some breeds of cat don't mind it too much, but most hate it. And
These ones I don't think enjoyed it.
no.
did they?
And this film has got a scene now.
I'm just laughing at the sheer ridiculousness. I can't believe this was ever filmed. It's hard to believe.
It is ridiculous.
It
We
happens,
have
though.
watched actual deaths in these films.
Yes, we have.
But this, for me, was harder to watch because I could just see the cats really struggling to kind of swim in the water.
Yeah, we're not going to mention what film that was that we watched Actual Deaths in, but it rhymes with Darfield 2 or Tale of Two Kitties. No, it doesn't really. But
No,
what
just
we
the
have,
career of Tim Curry.
we saw actual people get shot in the head in a Bill Murray film, which we'll let you guess which one.
But
that
this
is.
was harder for me to watch.
Yeah.
I just don't like seeing animals in distress.
No,
Now this for me really brought this film down. I vaguely remember enjoying some of this film.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike's Mondo video.
Some bits are
It
good,
is a weird film, and as Matt has alluded to, in the was this 79?
79.
In the late 70s, there was a film called Mondo Carne, an Italian film. That was primarily a documentary.
Yeah, they sort of documented rituals in other cultures, going around the world showing you what
involving
happens.
some, ritualistic sort of murdering of animals and that sort of thing, sacrifices. This then spawned a massive fascination in films of this type.
Yeah.
And went on to influence other directors into creating much more extreme films based around this, including things like Faces of Death, which are actual snuff films. Now, Faces of Death, half the film is acted. Again, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think it's all real deaths, but half of it isn't, and it contains real images of kind of abattoir slaughters and people getting eaten by lions and stuff like that. So, and these films sort of started it off really in the late 70s and into the 80s, and then you went into old video nasties, but that's a different thing entirely.
So this is very much sandwiched in between, isn't it?
Yeah, and
it's an in-between.
I suppose Mondo Carne.
It's C-A-N-E. I mean, I'll say Carne because I'm thinking.
I think it is Carne.
Yeah.
But in comparison to Faces of Death and stuff like that, it looks relatively tasteful.
Yeah.
But I suppose it isn't. It is exploitation cinema, really. And in a way, you're holding up a camera to all these strange customs and rituals and sort of mocking them in a way, because it's a sort of fascination, a bit like looking at roadkill, rubbernecking, I suppose.
Yes, and that brings up. Do you remember when Scary Movie came out? A lot of critics said it was sort of a pointless exercise because it was spoofing Scream, which was in itself a spoof.
Yes,
and this is a little like that. I mean, Mondo Carne. Yeah, there's an element of that to it, what you just said, and then you're sort of spoofing it, but they only do it in that one scene, really. There's nothing else. The whole... I should explain, the film is basically a series of sketches. It's linked with the Mr. Mike character from Saturday Night Live, which I think, of all the characters they've ever had on Saturday Night Live, Mr. Mike is the least funny
and
ever
the least
had.
Engaging.
Yeah, he's not a character who just says things in a sort of odd way, and he's not in any way funny. He links the narrative, but there isn't a narrative. It's just sketches. It's very Monty Python. It's very...
Yeah, it's another one of these sketch films. I think Bill Murray did 3 of them early in his career.
Yeah.
We've had The Ruttles, we've got this, and we've got Loose Shoes to come fairly soon, which is another engaging and intriguing film, but not necessarily a good film. And this kind of falls into that category. Michael O'Donoghue is behind it.
Yeah.
He has already been involved in this podcast. We managed to not mention it last time, but he wrote the version of Jungle Burger that we saw.
And he co-wrote Scrooged.
Which is, I would say, easily his most successful film to date. But it's sort of part of his trilogy of working with Bill Murray.
Yes, we have lots of actors and writers and directors who have a trilogy. There's Jim Jarmusch, John McNaughton, lots of people work with him 3 times. That's the magic number. Mike O'Donoghue stopped working with Bill Murray because he died.
Yeah,
his death,
which is a bit of a drawback. He's not,
he's not funny. I don't think. Well, he co-wrote Scrooge, so maybe he's partly funny. But
who was the other person who wrote it?
Good. Was it Mitch Glazer?
Yes, possibly. Yes. Yeah, he's a strange man. He's definitely a writer rather than a performer. You put him in front of a camera and he just looks a bit like if someone had asked for, I don't know, a cross between Mr. Garrison and an Undertaker. Mr. Garrison from South Park. He looks like that. But he has a kind of Undertaker's delivery, shall we say.
Sort of reminds me of those times, you know, when they get a guest star into Friends and they're either given a character or they just aren't very funny. Christina Applegate jumps to mind. She's a good actress, but she's given the most unfunny.
Although some people think she's brilliant.
Yeah, no, those people are wrong, aren't they?
She won an award, an Emmy, I believe. Well, I don't know why.
No, but it's badly judged comedy, isn't it? It's terrible comedy that maybe worked that week, but it hasn't dated. This is a little bit like that. It's a badly judged character. Building a film around him is odd.
Badly judged character, but there are some standout scenes in it that work really well, and some of
Can
them
you remember them?
Yes, some of them are really ahead of their time. Luckily, I reminded myself by reading your review. Earlier, The Funeral of Jack Lord. Now that is great. It's even better if you are a Bond fan like I am, and you are. And Jack Lord played only in one film, Felix Leiter. Was it in Dr. No? I think it was in Dr. No. I think he was the first Felix Leiter.
Yeah, probably.
In Dr. No. And there is a scene with Dan Aykroyd playing a priest, I think. Is he the priest
Dan
in it?
Aykroyd's in it. I can't remember if he's in that scene. The funny thing about that scene is that it was filmed when he was alive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a funeral for Jack Lord.
So what must Jack Lord have made of that? Maybe he's not aware of it. Someone would have told him, surely.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a funeral of Jack Lord. It's really surreal. And again, it's really ahead of its time. Bill Murray does seem to have a habit of being in comedies that are ahead of the time. We see this later in Loose Shoes with the final scene in Loose Shoes, which I love.
Yeah.
And that's where Loose Shoes gets its name from. But it's one of the only really good scenes in it.
He's in films that are ahead of their time, but these films are inconsistent and he's not the best bit in them. In fact, sometimes he's downright awful. Can you remember who he is in this?
Yes.
And it's not good, is it?
No. He is, but it does make me laugh, even though it shouldn't. He's he's a vox pop subject, I believe.
Yeah.
A man on the street.
Yeah.
Who's talking a bit like this the whole way through.
Yes.
And then doesn't he gob at the end or something? I'm laughing, but he is mocking the disabled, really. Or the simple-minded, surely. That's his only part.
See it any other way.
And, I'm assuming he filmed it before Meatballs.
So,
or did he? Or was it just a cameo?
So this was filmed, obviously it's a Saturday Night Live offshoot. It's a TV movie, classically, but I think it did have a massive career in sort of like German TV. And stuff. People love it, but some people really love it, which is odd. But I guess they were like, oh, Bill's filming this, 78, 79, probably before Meatballs, probably.
I don't know. It might have taken them a long time to do because it's so sketch-based. And I always wonder with these films how long they've taken to be done because obviously if it's sketch-based, there's no real shooting schedule or time limit, is there? So it could have been years in production.
It's done to make money, isn't it? It's done to capitalise on it. No one wants a good piece of work from this. No one's expecting one. Can you think of any modern examples of this? The only thing I can think of is Movie 43.
Movie 43, which is generally considered one of the worst films ever.
Yeah, when has it ever been done well or critically?
No, I don't. I'm not sure it has. No. I know there's the film where they're all talking about the same joke, the Aristocrats.
And that's sort of okay.
Not the Aristocrats, that's Disney. The Aristocrats.
And that's well reviewed.
That's well reviewed, but it's not really a documentary or a sketch show, is it?
I think if you were going to come to me and say, Matt, I really want to make a film that's based around an isolated out. Basically, if you want to make this film, I would say I don't think there's a place for it. I don't think it's got any chance of being good.
No. Yeah, I know.
I mean,
like you say, I think
sure you can make it good, but
well,
you can make anything good, sweetheart.
Thanks.
So, well, that was a long,
yeah. So no, I don't think it really lives up to any kind of expectation. I'm not sure how much of an expectation there was anyway. And it is there really to capitalise on the successes of the Saturday Night Live cast.
Yeah.
But there are some big names in there. A couple that popped up in the Ruttles. So Gilda Radner again. Obviously Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. The glittering Michael O'Donoghue. Is that it? No. Is this the film that I forgot his name. Jim Belushi.
I think he's a Vox Pop 2, isn't he? Is he a Vox Pop 2 in this?
No, isn't he wearing a hat and sunglasses and strides into a room with office workers? We've definitely watched one film that he is in. And it might well be this one.
I haven't recorded
or it's
that.
Loose Shoes.
I thought he was a voice in one of the Peter animations, and I think I've mentioned that before.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. He pops up somewhere, doesn't he? But you got Belushi in a film, and you don't. I can't remember that he was in it. That's a mistake, isn't it? If you've got someone of the calibre of him. What else have I said? Oh, okay, yeah. So the scene I loved in this, I remember loving it, is the mouse princess being hit by 2 trains.
Yes.
They just say there's a mouse princess being hit by 2 trains, and you see a mouse
princess being hit by 2 trains.
There's something about that I loved. And do you remember they really loved the film? They use that song. Is it Telstar? Isn't it? It's the song Telstar.
Oh yeah.
By the Tornadoes. They use that a lot.
Yes.
And they use it at the end.
Interesting fact.
Scene, which is weird. I know you're going to say about Matt Bellamy's dad, aren't you?
Well,
tell everybody.
Matt Bellamy's dad was in the Tornadoes.
I'm so sorry. I
That's
really
all right.
took the air out of that. It was when you had nothing left to give. That was such a shame.
I don't even know what instrument he played. His cock.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, he didn't.
The village people wait for a cargo plane of novelty items to be delivered when Telstar by the Tornadoes is playing, and it's on a beach.
Not Telstar by the Tornadoes.
No, the problem is with this film and with Loose Shoes is that they don't know how to pace things correctly.
No,
their gags are funniest when they're brief, like the Fast Show, and yet they really draw out things that they're convinced are funny but aren't, like that gag. And there's another really unfunny one I noted somewhere. So again, it's just these Fox Pops. Coming up, Christmas on Other Planets, Nazi oven mitts, and
you were going to say mints.
I was going to say
Nazi oven mints.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, how would that work?
And I end the review by saying, ultimately, when the most exciting moment happens outside the film, my wife was bringing the washing in, and we thought a dead animal was trapped in the duvet, but it later turned out to be a pair of my Bert and Ernie boxer shorts. Then you know that the film's in trouble.
Yes. We'll be sending them as a prize. No, you won't.
No, I might even be wearing them right now. Hang on. No, I'm not. I'm wearing Pierre Calvin's.
Good.
Which is clearly like a Calvin Klein rip-off.
Or Pierre Cardin.
Yeah, they've just done both of them.
Pierre Calvin. Yeah. I also saw more of your anatomy than...
No, you didn't. Did you?
I saw something.
No!
Oh, good, there it is again.
You won't see
I can see the bit of flesh leading to your...
No, that's not a... That's just further extension of the slight hair on my belly.
I'm not convinced.
It is! I mean, look how low down this goes. Look.
Please stop showing me that. Oh, why did you have to pull your trousers down so low?
Why did you have to... No, I'm not going to...
No.
Okay, so it's... Yes, what scores did we give it? Can you remember?
Well, that's a really good question. I think it's in the region of the 4s, possibly, or possibly even a 5.
It's odd that we scored it so high compared to Jungle Burger, isn't it? But it has moments of merit. You scored it 4.
Yeah.
And I scored it 4.5, giving it an average of...
4.25.
Well done.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's one of the few films in that range. We don't tend to score things... If they're going low, they're going really low. We don't tend to do within the sort of 2.5 to 5 range.
But I think I said in the review that 10% of the film really works, the rest doesn't. And maybe we haven't reflected that in the numbers, but the 10% that works really work. That Jack Lord sketch is really funny. Those like quick, short, blink and you miss them sketches are hilarious. And if there was more of that, it would be a great film. It's enough to give it that mark, but it's just so inconsistent and so unfunny for the most part that it sadly has to have one of our lowest scores. One of our
lowest scores, but not the lowest. And it's certainly, funnily enough, it falls into the category of one of the films on the list that I would happily watch again.
Yeah.
Purely because the thing about these sketch
Burger,
films is that there's variety. So it's a bit like doing a concert instead of a musical. You know, you get lots of different songs and some of it's going to stick and some of it isn't. And some of it does stick and some of it definitely doesn't. I think anything where Mr. Mike's face is on screen just doesn't work. When did he die, incidentally?
Oh, I want to say shortly after Scrooged. I want to say like 89 or something. I don't definitely know though.
It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
And that comedy, that style of comedy has largely died, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's unfortunate.
There is no other way around it than to say I think Bill Murray's character, probably not Bill Murray, but the director, which was Mike O'Donoghue, wasn't it? Yeah, he wrote it and directed it and sang the theme tune. There's no... Michael O'Donoghue's director must have been, right, Bill, can you do a voice that's mocking the disabled? And Bill would have said yes, and they would have done it, and they would have gone, right, job done, that's hilarious. But let's examine that moment when you felt that's...
Well, I mean, you know, again...
Because
this was less
PC
PC times. There is a video clip on YouTube of the beloved John Lennon mocking people with cerebral palsy in one of his shows. Yeah, he does this.
God, I'm glad that you guys can't see that.
Yeah. So that was me sort of contorting my arms in a way that was... but I'm doing it to illustrate the point.
He's doing it at a gig?
Yeah.
And did the audience
on stage? Yes.
Oh, bloody hell.
But this was in like the 60s. And unfortunately, people just did laugh at stuff like that in the same way that they laughed at sexism and racism.
Yeah.
I mean, Loose Shoes, it will crop up again.
Yeah.
But the whole title, Loose Shoes, is based on a quote from a prominent politician at the time who didn't realise it was being recorded, or maybe even did realise it was being recorded. And he said the only thing, Nick, this is in context, the N-word, one out of life, is
Loose shoes.
Tight pussy, loose shoes, and a warm place to shit. Now,
don't know where that is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
We're not talking about the turn of the century. We are talking about within people's lifetimes.
Yes, almost within our lifetimes, and it's odd to believe that people were making art and cinema and comedy around that. It's inconsistent because that sort of is so twee. That sort of a mouse princess being pulled apart by two trains. It's Monty Python. It's quite cute. It's surreal. It's innocent in some ways in its silliness. Someone has literally put some concepts together and gone, let's do that. Let's put that happen, and that's lovely. That innocence. But then they've also thrown some cats in a swimming pool, and then they've also mocked the disabled, and then they've also.
I know it's different times. I mean, you will always get contradictions in art. I'm sure it happens now. I can't think of an example now. Well, actually, I suppose I can. We have TV, obviously, and the same TV that there are some things on TV. Like the other day, we both watched separately a Mark Kermode documentary on horror, which was really thoughtful, great, really well researched, really good clips. And this isn't even high art on TV. This is just an interesting documentary, and a series of Love Island has just finished. So, you could I'm sure people could take offence at that. Big Brother's still running. I mean, that's all about psychological torture, And
there is a place for all of these different types of things. It's just when you put them together in a sketch-based TV movie, you're going to have to be very lucky if it all comes off. And it doesn't, and that tonally it's all over the place.
It is strange. I mean, in Shakespearean times, the same people who were entertained by the plays of William Shakespeare were also entertained by this is true. I remember reading. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not remotely funny. They got a bear, and they tied an ape to it.
Yes, they did. Look, this is in the Bill Bryson book that you bought me that I've just read.
Yes.
Bear baiting, bear fighting.
Bear tied an ape to it until I think one of them or both of them died. Hideously on stage. Is it a bear? It's definitely a monkey. I don't know where they got a monkey from.
And then I guess someone comes on and goes, right, did you want to enjoy that? Tomorrow, Othello.
Yeah. One of the greatest tragedies in the history of theatre.
Was followed by Othello. But it's a tragedy that never happened. And it's not a tragedy this film never happened, but I would watch it again. I would just watch the good bits, of which I wouldn't be sure when they came on.
No, I suppose I could watch it first, edit out all the bad bits, and you could sit down and watch the good bits, but then it might only take you 15 minutes.
And that's quite bad for a film, isn't it? Saying, here, watch this film, but I'm going to take out all the shit bits.
Yes. And watch a quarter of this film, which is a 10 on 10. The remainder of it is a 0. And so we've averaged that out, non-mathematically, to a 4.25.
4.25,
Yeah.
It's not the finest hour you'll ever have, hour and a half, however long it is, watching a Bill Murray film. It's not the worst. I doubt anyone's going to listen to this and want to watch it, so don't. Yeah, just don't. It's probably best you save your time, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This concludes this particular podcast.
We'll see you for whatever the next one is.
Yeah. The next one will be released a little bit after these. You should have had these released as a double.
Lucky you.
Yes. Yes, exactly. For your listening delectation. I'm already waffling because this is now our longest one, and it's for Mr. Mike's Mondo video. The next one, I am going to trail for you now.
Yes, because I'm trying to... Okay.
In a world where two men do podcasts, we can present that the next podcast we're going to do is...
Where the Buffalo Roam.
Where the Buffalo Roam. Which is Bill Murray's version of the Hunter S. Thompson
origin story, I suppose.
Origin story, like he's a superhero. Yeah. You'll be more familiar with the Johnny Depp version, but Bill Murray did it first. We'll see you later.
Take care. Bye.